am TheZOMBIEJ. Welcome to episode 2 of Moha. Back to basics. Yes, episode 2 is finally here. Episode 3 will likely be tomorrow. I've got another video planned for you, so stay tuned for that. And I apologize for that high-pitched squeal. I tend to do weird voices from time to time. So, we're gonna do map 2, which is Destroyed Village. Yes, this is a classic map for Allied Assault, and it was redone. It was rebuilt, basically, redone for Airborne with a lot of stuff added to it, like a lot more destruction, a lot more detail. It looks nice and amazing, but this one has a certain charm that you just can't get from the Airborne, from the Airborne version. And therefore, we're joining the Allies. We're gonna take a bar. I pronounce it as bar. It's actually B-A-R. It is the Browning automatic rifle. Ah, you're dead! Oh, son of a whore! I just got shotgunned. Uh-oh. Enemy territory. Aw, die! One shot, one kill. Fuck you, dude. Ouch. Jit. I killed them all, at least. They're dead. So, that's a plus. Uh-oh. Ah, crap. You're gonna die. Prepare for homicide. Well, in this case, genocide, because it's war, so... Please excuse the dogs barking in the background. They annoy me a lot, but hey, it is what it is. They're dogs. So, let's go. Hey dude, what you doing? He's got a sniper rifle. Or as some people like to, they just like to be improper and stupid and pronounce it as snipper rifle. Yeah, snipper rifle. That sounds just disingenuous and stupid. Ah, I tripped on a grenade. Don't call it snipper rifle. That is stupid. That is just that's disrespectful to the concept of sniper rifle. Oh. And y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. I get it, it's a trendy buzzword type of thing to say regarding a certain weapon type, but hey, whatever. I guess I shouldn't be as in shambles about it as I am, but guys, come on. You don't do that. You don't make up stupid, shitty versions of pronunciations of certain weapons in your favorite first-person shooter game, or third-person in some case, like the Sniper Elite franchise, I guess you could say. Whatever that is. It's just, say things right, for fuck's sake. Say sniper rifle. Snipper rifle is just wrong, and you shouldn't say it. Well, I guess if you really want to and be like a total ass of yourself, you can. But at the same time, whatever. Anyway, point is, it's sniper rifle, not snipper rifle. Either way, it's still a rifle. It's still a weapon. So use it. And one of these dudes is. Okay, there were like 2 snipers probably, but hey. Okay, let's see. Oh, just stand there and let me shoot them. Wow. Oh, crap. Son of a cunt. I just got shot in the cock. Alright, I'm making my way back there. I am going to shoot those guys. Prepare for death. Ah, grenade! Yeah, I was using the C and V buttons. There's a C and Z. Yeah, CZ. to lean left and right. So, as you can do that. Lean past cover. Fuck. Well, at least I killed one guy, but I'm not happy about it. Oh, I got shot in the penis. No coke. Alright. Oh, die. I thought there was a dude. I guess not. Yeah. This game is nostalgic fun, and you should be ashamed of yourself if you prefer the early Call of Duty and Battlefield titles. Yeah, all I'm gonna say is, fuck you! This is the predecessor to Allied Assault is the predecessor to Call of Duty and Battlefield. I understand this game came out the same year as Battlefield 1942. But I'd like to think, at least I'm pretty sure 1942 came months after this game. In fact, the same time as Frontline was released, which was later in the year, a couple months after this one was. So EA was already competing with with their leading first-person shooter brand. So I feel like Battlefield drew unnecessary competition, unfair competition, and it's like, EA, you can't have two massive World War II first-person shooters. Now, obviously, they still delve into World War II every so often, and of course, future prediction stuff as well. That feels obligatory, and but yeah, I'd say Allied Assault is better than the early Battlefield and Call of Duty titles combined. I say that as I got shotgunned, as if that was an EA, as if that was a Call of Duty fanboy. That shotgun me in the face because they're a dick, honestly. Okay, so I swear I heard someone. Corpse. Call of Duty, the first one at least, was basically Allied Assault, but a little bit more added to it. So it felt like kind of a knockoff of Allied Assault. I always thought Call of Duty was like a rip-off of Medal of Honor, at least when it came to the first game and comparing it to Allied Assault. But the stories are, I guess you could say, different. There are different things from Call of Duty and Medal of Honor that kind of, separate the two. They're both World War II first-person shooters, but and I mean, at the end of the day, you prefer what you prefer, and you like what you like. So, I like Medal of Honor, Allied Assault. I like Medal of Honor as a whole. Okay, okay, you know what? The reboot duality was kind of not to my liking, honestly. It was okay, but sorry, dude. But there were problems, mostly in the realm of bugs and glitches, and sometimes, and that's mostly in Warfighter. Oh, fuck you and your shotgun! Take that shotgun and fuck yourself with it, stupid. You cunt. But in all actuality, it felt like the Medal of Honor reboot duality, where those two games were trying to be like Call of Duty, Battlefield mixed hybrid clones of some sort that just felt like average first-person shooters set in the modern day. And some people were not akin to that, so they were not to that was not to their liking. And I mean, Project Neptune keeps Medal of Honor 2010 servers on there. Not sure about Warfighter. much to you. But hey, you know, it's nice that people are still playing the 2010 game, and even you know, Airborne and other games with multiplayer, even Pacific Assault. I'm sorry, dude. And you know, this was the first Medal of Honor game with any real multiplayer, and everything that came after it was just trying to spoof and copy it and clone it to no end and try to expand upon it to some degree. I think that's what Battlefield tried to do, was expand upon Allied Assault, and more so with Call of Duty trying to do it. But the first Call of Duty, that is, trying to do it. But Battlefield just felt like Battlefield did some things wrong in the first game, which, you know, like having to like the reload animations being just off, and you know, like for example, you know, and also ammunition coming out of the wrong side of the fucking gun. I mean, seriously, EA, make a better game than that. Obviously they have, because look at Battlefield 1, for example. Yeah, it's rare that you ever get a World War I first-person shooter, but they do exist, and that's one of them. So, oh, shotgunner, you're dead. Fuck! Oh, you absolute fucking cunt! Well, let's get to kill these guys, or that guy at least. Let's see. Ha! Finished you. Shit. Ah, you're dead. Oh. Battlefield 1942. Just. Wow. I played the demo, at least, in the, in a desert map. And I just don't get as much nostalgia out of it as I do with Allied Assault. Same thing with the first Call of Duty, and I have the first Call of Duty game, played it. It's just not Allied Assault. Okay, maybe you can compare it to Allied Assault, and it's basically Allied Assault with the, obviously, more quality graphics, I guess you could say, and also different story elements to make it, you know, an interesting package for, you know, PC gamers. And of course, you know, the multiplayer expanding things, like giving us iron sights. You know, you don't need iron sights in a fucfucking first-person shooter. That's just become a staple since the first Call of Duty. With Allied Assault, you don't get. You're welcome. You don't get iron sights, but I'm fine with that, honestly, because you give iron sights, if you put iron sights in Allied Assault, and people have tried, it just takes away from the charm, the overall charm and value of Allied Assault, to make it seem like it's basically the first Call of Duty game. And that just doesn't sit well with me, honestly. I feel like this game does things that Call of Duty gets right, and Call of Duty just does a lot of things wrong, to be honest. But it has expanded upon what made Allied Assault's multiplayer great, and among other things, what made Allied Assault in general great. I just don't like Call of Duty, the early Call of Duty games and the early Battlefield games as much as Allied Assault. The first 3 Call of Duties and their expansions were good for the most part, Same thing with the World War II Battlefield games from that era, including Battlefield 1943, maybe? But at the same time, this is true nostalgia for me, is this game. I don't get the same feeling of nostalgia when playing Call of Duty 1 or Battlefield 1942. Or any of the games that come after it. After those two games. I just... you know... Oh. Fuck. I guess I just remember a time when games had simple, fun, multiplayer, first-person shooter action. Like this. You know? This game, for example. And the campaigns for Allied Assault, Spearhead, and Breakthrough are just great. They really are excellent. Fantastic stories told about ordinary soldiers facing extraordinary odds. And, you know, this game you play as Mike Powell. There's a Mike Powell action figure, which I plan on getting at some point, if I can find him for a decent enough price. I know that's a collector's item, but at the same time, you know, I gotta have it. Because it's part of my favorite game here. It's like I gotta have the box set deluxe edition of this game. That comes with 2 guides and a soundtrack CD and whatnot, as well as Allied Assault and Spearhead. But I gotta have that box set because it's my favorite game. This is my favorite game, guys. I mean, come on. You can't fault me for loving this game as much as I do. You can go fuck yourself if you really so are inclined on trash-talking me for preferring this over Call of Duty or Battlefield. Really, the last good Call of Duty game was World at War. Everything after that, abysmal, trash, garbage, boring, lame, pandering. Just no. Just no. Oh. Just... Activision can't make games anymore. Well, they publish games, but Treyarch and Infinity Ward and other developers for Call of Duty, they can't make games anymore. They can't make decent military shooters anymore. It's just done for the Call of Duty series. The same thing with Battlefield. Battlefield 6 last year, besides future prediction stuff, it just feels like another run-of-the-mill, by-the-numbers, first-person shooter game. Obviously, there are questions revolving around that game and concerns people have, but this new Call of Duty game is just going to it's going to start some things, and I'm not looking forward to it. First of all, well, it's probably going to get banned in South Korea, obviously, hopefully. And really, the Call of Duty series is done for if this game gets banned in specific countries. And Modern Warfare 4 just in general needs to be banned. Y'all can just go fuck yourselves. If you really want to play that game, too bad. You know, Call of Duty is a shell of its former self, and it needs to stop while it's still, you know, going. You know, it should stop soon. hopefully next year there'll be a Call of Duty game that is not an offensive piece of shit. But yeah. Now you do have World War II games like Postscriptum and whatnot that have came out within the past 10 years, but you know, those don't always get as popular as games like this, for example. They still do the World War II thing. They do so quite effectively. Now, I do know there is Red Orchestra. Ouch! Who the fuck shot me? Oh, you! Oh! Wow. Yeah, there are a lot of first-person shooters that came out because of Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor doesn't get the same amount of cred as it used to. And EA is just... I have a separate video I want to record talking about, you know, EA and Medal of Honor in general. Fuck. Yeah, I know there was a dude off to the side there, but... In fact, I'm gonna go kill him right now. Let's go kill that Nazi bastard. Oh. Eh. Fuck, you're dead. You're dead. Oh, I guess he moved, asshole. Well, I got 5 bullets in this gun, where... Oh, come on! Yeah, that was salt right there. You can tell I'm salty. I always get pissed and angry when I get killed in this game. Or in any first-person shooter game. Any game in general, actually. Like... Oh, fuck. Every time I die in Bionicle the game for a PS2, it's quick and painless, and, you know, there's nothing really going on there. It's like a one-hit kill, and you're dead. It's like, well, at least I respawn to a certain point. Now with this, now that's a campaign exclusive. That is a single-player exclusive game, where this game is multiplayer. And you know what? Call of Duty and Bionicle the game both came out the same year, 2003. You could say Call of Duty is better than Bionicle the game. I beg to differ. Bionicle the game for the GBA, yes, it's garbage. We all know this. But the PS2 version of Bionicle the game is better than Call of Duty on the PC. That's gonna piss off COD fans, especially fans of those early COD titles. Yeah, I'm saying that Bionicle the game for the PC, or, well, the PS2 is... Oh, sorry, dude. Is a better game than the first Call of Duty title. That's as rare as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to hear an argument like that. Fuck. Hold on. Oh! Shit! That's a rare argument coming from a gamer. They'll say, you know, if you truly believe a game from a different genre of video games is much better than something from the first-person shooter genre, especially the one that kind of outclasses this game in a way, because it is true that the first Call of Duty outclassed Allied Assault here, but at the same time, Call of Duty, it had its fair share of good and bad titles. Mostly bad, at least in my opinion. Fuck. But when it comes to Bionicle the game, for PS2 at least, because I play the PS2 one ad nauseum. Whoa! At least that game has decent enough controls and is part of my favorite Lego franchise. Yeah, Lego would never touch Call of Duty, for example. Mega Brand did. And I don't think they're making Call of Duty sets anymore. Which is good, because, you know, that's less money that's going to Activision. Really, people just need to stop buying into the Call of Duty and Battlefield craze. There's nothing left for these two franchises after this next Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 4. After this one, it's just over. It just needs to be over. It needs to stop before this new game incites an actual. And that's scary, because it possibly could happen. Wow. Mind equals blown. It's amazing what video games have started. What video games have contributed to over the years. Yeah, I knew there was a dude over there. I was distracted by the other dude. Fuck off. Oh, look, I can get him. Let's go kill him. Kill. Where is he? Oh, shit. Piss. I'm angry. Oh, no. Fuck you and your grenade. Fuck you and your bullets. I got bullets, too, and you're dead. But yeah. Bionicle the game for the PS2. Better game than Call of Duty 1 for the PC. If you disagree, you are a moron. You may think I'm a moron for thinking that Bionicle the game is a better game, well, for the PS2 at least, than, the first Call of Duty game. But Call of Duty, at least, was not a Lego franchise. One that I had nostalgia for. So your arguments are immediately invalid. You can go fuck yourselves. Seriously. Call of Duty is just a sham. It's a major disappointment, and it always has been. There have been things that disappointed me about the first Call of Duty game, like, for example, it's just not Medal of Honor. It's just not Medal of Honor. Now, obviously, Infinity Ward codenamed the shooter, their game, Medal of Honor Killer, because that's what it was trying to be, was the next Medal of Honor Killer. They're trying to kill that franchise off, and did so successfully, I'd say. Call of Duty's rise in popularity, as well as the Battlefield games, were a contributing factor to the demise of Medal of Honor. And that just doesn't sit well with me at all. Seriously. Those two franchises, Activision, EA especially, they cannibalized their own franchise. They killed off their own franchise because of the popularity of another franchise they had that was similar. Why? Because Warfighter was an abysmal disappointment. That's all there is to it. But Warfighter was the final nail in the coffin. Now, we did get that VR title 8 years later. Oh, fuck. But, still. The VR title, for me, only had music. That was all that there was. The Colette documentary was pretty good, too. The music for Medal of Honor Above and Beyond was all the game had that was able to entertain me. Now, the Colette documentary, as I said, was pretty good. It was educational, and I enjoyed it, for the most part. And, that's not enough. That's not enough for me. The game had to be a fucking VR title? No! EA, you stole this game from being a PC title. You Respawn. Why did you develop this game to be a fucking VR title? Was it something that the corporates at EA wanted you to do? Because I think that had something to do with it. Anyway, we're at the end of our rope with this episode, so let's go find an asshole to kill. I'm gonna die. Yep, there we go. Oh, well, I apologize if I upset any COD or Battlefield stands out there. Also, if you're a fan of Red Orchestra, I don't blame you, honestly. It's better than COD, and it's better than Battlefield. And if you disagree with me completely about Bionicle the game for PS2 being better than Call of Duty, the first Call of Duty, well, you're not a Bionicle fan, I guess, because you blindly worship anything that Activision will release. Even fucking... You know, the whole zombies idea is kind of stupid, too, because the COD zombie stuff is abysmal. At least the music is good for the Black Ops Zombies game. Elena Sigmund has been added to that because her voice is nice. Anyway, that's enough. I'll be back tomorrow with some videos, so stay tuned for more videos. I am TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks later. Have a good fucking day, and peace.